All right, so g'day everybody. Quick service on this truck. It needs it. It's slightly overdue. It's going to be a really quick one. Oil filter, plugs, and just a general look over. That leak I did mention you saw in the last video. I'm also going to have a bit of a look around for that. So let's get into it. I'm just going to remove this sump plug and drain it into my oil pan. This is definitely something on any vehicle that you own you can do. So I would encourage everybody to do this. I know that there's when you buy a vehicle you have servicing and cap price servicing and that sort of thing, but once it's out of that, don't be scared to try stuff. There's so much information available on the internet. I wholeheartedly encourage you to just do it, just have a crack. You know what I mean? Videos like this showing you what to do. Anything like basic servicing is so easy and it's so rewarding. You can just get outside, do it. Maybe don't do it if you're planning to go out for dinner in 2 hours in case something doesn't go quite as planned, but have a go, have a crack. I wholeheartedly believe that life's all about having a crack. That's it there. And there's no reason that you can't do any of these things, in all seriousness. All right, so I'll let that drain. I've had the car running so it's warm. Always make sure you have your car running. Either go for a drive or let it sit and idle for 10 minutes until you start to get a temperature reading on your thermostat gauge. And this will drain out now. I'm just going to jump out and pull out the dipstick because it allows air into the system. And like when you're tipping a bottle of drink out, if you just tip it directly upside down, the air liquid ratio tries to balance itself out so it's slow. But if you punch a hole in the top of the bottle, it'll obviously drain out a lot quicker. This is draining out fine, but I'm just going to pull out the dipstick just so it completely drains the whole system, and then we'll take off the oil filter. Just pull out that dipstick. You have to excuse the way this engine bay looks. This engine, this 351 5.8 litre Windsor Ford engine, had a gas system put on it, which I've spoken about in previous videos, but it's just an absolute mess, and it's just going to take time for me to do it, but it's going to be a good project I'm looking forward to. So that's draining. I don't know if you can see, but into my fingertip, that's the oil filter down in there. I'll jump underneath and we'll undo that. Another thing you always need to do is check your sump plug. A lot of the time they have a magnetic end on them, and if there's any metal or foreign object that's metallic floating around your engine, it will attach to that. But I think I found the reason for one of our leaks. That crush washer is broken. So that could be where some of that oil that we see is coming from. I'm going to clean this off and put a new crush washer on it and get it back in the sump. This is going to go everywhere. Where's that going to? It's bad. So always put some oil in your oil filter so you don't get a massive air pocket through your oil system when you first start your car. I filled this one up 3/4. It's a bit of a funny angle. I don't want oil all over me in the ground, so that'll be enough to make sure there's not too much of a hole. And then always make sure that you just, on the O-ring on the top, you rub some oil around that just for lubrication when you're tightening it up. Opa. Oh, one-handed upside down, not ideal. Come on, baby. Oh, wait. Hang on. It's hiding on me. One. One. Come on. One more attempt. Okay. All right. Nice and tight. Give it a wipe up. So I've just taken off my lead. I would suggest not taking them all off at once, unless you want to work out the very slow way your firing order, because that's what will happen. People take them off and they don't know which way around they go. One at a time is the best way. Get it close up with that plug. Definitely due for a change. Now you always want to use a spark plug socket because it has a piece of rubber in the end of the socket which allows you to basically jam it on, and that way when you undo it the spark plug will stay inside the socket. I give you an example of what I mean when I pull this one out. See? Stays in. It's got a piece of rubber in the end in there. Again, that's well and truly ready for changing. Sorry for the huffing and puffing, I'm pulling yoga positions, getting these plugs out. So I just pulled out that rear plug on that back cylinder, and that's just a little bit of an idea of what it looks like. It's well and truly past its use by date. I'll focus on it for you. It's pretty bad. Oh, that's bad. Okay, so very interesting. Just broke off the top of the spark plug. Hopefully you can get it out. Alright, it just fell on the ground. I'm just going to pick it up and I'll show you. Unbroken spark plug. So obviously, pull this out. You can see what's broken off. Right there. Alright, let's get them replaced and you're done. Alright, so plugs are done. It was really hard for me to get any good camera sort of spots on this side. Light it with a torch, you can see there's not a whole lot of room happening down in there. See all this mumbo jumbo wiring here, this is other stuff we have to fix up. That that black box with the 4 injectors coming in it, that's the gas injection system on this vehicle. Alright, so I'm gonna put the sump plug back in and we'll get her filled up with oil. Oh, why is that so chunky? Feels like it's been cross-threaded at one stage in its life. Maybe that's why it's leaking. Lots of chunks in there. I can even feel it. See that? Oh, where'd my little washer go? Please. So you want it tight enough so that the washer is squashed, but you also don't want it so tight that you never get it undone. So try and nip that up. That's it. Alright, I'm happy with that. I'm actually not going to try and chase this oil leak that's under here today. I want to see if now that I've fixed that sump plug, that the oil's actually not doing a bit of a roundabout journey, and potentially when I'm driving it's flinging onto here and then dripping off here and also flinging up onto that, so onto the bell housing. So we'll just wait and see, give it a couple of days and see what happens. All right, let's fill it back up again. Okay, just going to start the engine now, see how we go. As silly as it sounds, always just stick your head underneath the car once you finish filling it up, just to make sure, or even while you're filling it up, just to make sure that the oil's not running out while you're putting it in. I've seen it before. As funny as it sounds, it does happen. All right, let's see how we go. Forgot the keys. All right, let's see how we go. Good. So one other thing I want to do just while I've got this in here is change over these headlights. These H4s are pretty dull. They're about as dull as a dolphin torch with half a battery at the moment. So I've got some new ones. I didn't want to go for the 4K blue daylight look on this truck. I just feel it won't suit the look of the truck. So I'll change them over now and I'll test them, and then we'll go for a quick drive, come back and just check all the fluids and make sure everything's as it should be. Alright, so just taking the car for a drive now. I've got Nim riding shotgun. I was going to change over the headlights in this as well because they needed changing. One of them appeared to have blown, but I put two new H4 bulbs in and it didn't work. One of them worked, one of them didn't. And I did a bit of testing and I found that don't have 12 volts at that pin for the headlights through the positive and the negative. I've got it through the positive and the high beam, or earth circuit if you want to call it that. So I'm going to do another video based on that, on a bit of troubleshooting. I was going to throw it in here just as a part of a bit of maintenance, but I think I'll make a separate video finding that gremlin, and if anyone else with an F150 has that problem, then maybe it'll be the same, maybe it can help them. But the car's driving really well. It's actually, you saw the condition of the plugs, and it's actually driving much smoother than what it was before, which is fantastic. That's exactly what I wanted. So overall, a success. Just going to turn around. The car runs on dual fuel, like I have said in previous videos, and I have been finding that on the gas it's been running not overly well. So maybe the plugs have played a part in that. I'm not really sure. It's possible. We'll find out in a minute. I'll flick it over on the fuel. As you can see, it pulls, that was probably a half throttle acceleration. Pulls really, really well, really, really happy. I'm just going to flick it over now onto the secondary fuel, or the LPG, or the barbecue fuel, as some people call it. This truck has had a few issues with it, which it's a bit of a gremlin for it, but and that's one of its gremlins now. So that's something I'm going to have to look into. But on petrol, it's running really well. I will be looking at the gas system in another video, but the gas system in this is super complex. It's a really good gas system, but it is really complex. So it's probably needs to be a video on its own, and it will be a long, detailed video. So like I said, I'm really happy with the service. The car feels really good, or the truck feels really good. I'll get home now it's hot. I've given it a good run for 10-15 minutes, and I'll just make sure nothing's leaking, nothing's dripping, and I'll just keep an eye on it for the next week or so, just to make sure there's no runoff out of the oil filter or out of the sump plug or anything like that, nothing crazy, and make sure that, I mean, look, these things have got a total of about 5 warning lights in it, as opposed to new technology now, so by the time the oil light comes on, generally you've got no oil left. So anyway, next video, like I said, I'm just going to do one about the headlights and a bit of the electrical system on this truck. It's not going to be about a rewire or anything like that, it's just going to be about a bit of fault finding and how you actually do fault find, because whether it's finding why your headlight circuit's not working properly, or why your interior light's not working, or you know, even if you want to find power in your vehicle so that you can put that to use for something, like maybe you want to put a reversing light on your car, or you'd like to put a little spotlight in the back of your canopy. It's all the same. It's all about finding the correct circuit, identifying it, and safely using that power. Home, where in Australia we have 240 volt, in America I think it's 110 and 210 or 220 or something, but you know, we have 240 here, so that packs a punch if you touch it. So I'll finish this video now. Thanks for watching. Keep your eyes open for the next video. I am gonna start making that next video straight away, so it'll be up very soon. Please like and subscribe. I will be looking at the comments tonight and replying to them. And I actually had a comment the other day which was, surprised you don't have more subscribers, so that was pretty cool. So if you feel that way, please like, share the channel, comment. It'd be great to build the audience so that the projects can increase. I try and make a sort of 3 or 4 different topics for people so that it covers bases for more than one type of viewer, whilst not branching too far out of the genre that I enjoy and that I quite often work in. So again, thanks for watching, really appreciate it, appreciate the comments. I will be getting back to them tomorrow night, and everyone stay safe and enjoy the rest of the week. Cheers.